Wow. Any other wowers in chat? This series actually bothered me more than any other. It was so unsatisfying how it ended with all of the lore open-ended. Wait, what? What's all the open-ended lore of Cowboy Bebop? Breaking! Donald Trump has been diagnosed with chronic venous insufficiency. Blood doesn't efficiently return from the legs to the heart, often due to damaged valves in the veins. Wait, is this why he has those huge ankles? You're more likely to have this condition if you're overweight, are pregnant, have a family history of the problem, had damage to your leg due to injury, surgery, or previous blood clots. Other causes of chronic venous insufficiency include high blood pressure in the leg veins over time due to sitting or standing for long periods, lack of exercise, smoking, a blood clot in a deep vein, often in the calf or thigh, deep vein thrombosis, swelling and inflammation of a vein close to the skin, often in the legs, phlebitis. Oh no. Phlebitis? Ew. Ulcers. That's not good.
Train both techniques.
Stop. We don't care about that anymore. What the fuck is this?
What I am about to do now, and this is really important that I do this, I'm about to do a protection spell on myself against Ethan Klein. I'm going to be summoning protective energies to try to just keep me safe during this time. Protect us from Ethan Klein. Protect us from his wife. Protect us from that bald man, Dan. Protect us from Epstein. Protect us from Diddy Dan. Protect us from AB. Protect us from Olivia. Protect us from the H3 pod.
You guys are laughing, but what if it works? Astronomer CEO Andy Byron caught having an affair on the big. You can be the CEO of astronomy? The fuck? Why don't we just ask that? Who's the CEO of like war? Why can't we just get them to like stop the Ukraine-Russia stuff?
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. I'm not quite sure.
I never believe these anymore because I feel like they faked so many of these things at games. Why would you be at such a, or something, why would you be having an affair so publicly? Like there are tons of people around. I'm sure they're with friends and stuff. There's no way that they're going to keep this secret. No? I don't know. Whatever. I feel like his wife and him are probably already broken up. That's my guess. His wife changed her name on Facebook right after this. I think she had an inkling. They didn't expect to be put on the Jumbotron? You don't have to be on the Jumbotron. Like, I'm guessing they're with friends or something, or no? Are they literally just two people at a concert on their own and they're, I don't know, that seems pretty ballsy, whatever. Based. Do we have anything in here about Trump's health? Wait, where is this press release or this statement about Trump's cankles? It is in the embed list. Is it this? No. Wait, when you mean embed list, you don't mean my Obsidian document. Thank you, Panda.
10, 11.
Will travel to Scotland. Good afternoon, everyone. I apologize for our tardiness. I was with the president. Let me begin with a few scheduling announcements today. President Trump will travel to Scotland, where he will visit both Turnberry and Aberdeen from July 25th to July 29th. During the visit, President Trump will meet again with Prime Minister Starmer to refine the great trade deal that was brokered between the United States and the United Kingdom. And the President and the First Lady will travel to the United Kingdom for an official state visit from September 17th to September 19th later this fall. This will mark a truly unprecedented second state visit for President Trump, and he is honored and looking forward to meeting with His Majesty the King at Windsor Castle. There has been a wave of positive economic news over the past week, which I would like to highlight today. Joe Biden's inflation crisis has been defeated. Prices paid to American businesses for goods and
Joe Biden caused worldwide inflation. He did it. Just him. Why?
Services were flat in June, which is lower than all 50 forecasters in the Bloomberg survey predicted. And core inflation, which is the best measure of inflation, came in lower than expected again in the month of June. Since President Trump took office, core inflation has tracked at just 2.1% overall and has come in below or at economists' expectations every single month. Wages are growing at a strong pace and prices are falling for everyday Americans. We also saw prices for new and used vehicles and airfares drop last month. In addition, prices for gas, fuel oil, energy commodities, hotels, airfare, public transportation, and fresh vegetables are all down over last year. As we said all along, trust in President Trump. The American dream is back and everyday families are already reaping the benefits of this incredible economic turnaround in just 6 months. President Trump has ended the era of economic surrender and implemented powerful tariffs to stand up for our workers and businesses and rebalance America's trading agreements. Despite all of the doom casting from the so-called experts claiming that these tariffs would be the end of the world as we know it, the opposite has occurred. Tariffs are not inflationary, as President Trump has said all along. In reality, tariffs are a source of massive revenue. We're seeing trillions of dollars in private investment pour into our country right now because the companies around this world want to make their products right here with American labor and not have to pay any tariffs at all. Customs and tariff revenue has already totaled more than $113 billion since President Trump entered office, helping to lead a budget surplus in June for the first time in nearly a decade. We are truly entering a golden age as a result of these pro-growth and America First trade policies.
Wow.
On another matter, yesterday in the East Room, the president was proud to sign the Halt All Lethal Trafficking of On another matter, yesterday in the East Room, the president was proud to sign the Halt All Lethal Trafficking of Fentanyl Act into law, surrounded by angel families to help finally end the devastating fentanyl crisis that has ravaged millions of Americans. Under the Halt Fentanyl Act, anyone who possesses, imports, distributes, or manufactures any illicit fentanyl-related substances will be subject to criminal prosecution in the same manner as any other Schedule I controlled substance. This legislation will close the loopholes that criminals use to skirt around the law and make it easier for law enforcement to prosecute vicious traffickers who
Was it not illegal to traffic fentanyl before, or what changed?
peddle poison in our communities. President Trump has always made tackling the drug crisis a top priority, and this important bipartisan legislation further follows through on that commitment. The complete and total success at our southern border that many in the media in this room continue to ignore is another example of...
Why did both you retards say this? It's super illegal now. It's super illegal now. It's double illegal. Okay. Thank you.
the president keeping his word to families who have lost loved ones due to fentanyl, and it's another win for the American people. Customs and Border Protection just released the final operationalized stats for the month of June, and I must highlight some of these incredible numbers. There were only 6,072 Southwest apprehensions in June, 15% lower than the previous record that this president set in the month of March. To put that in perspective, the Biden administration routinely saw the same number of encounters in a single day, and on many days, that number was more than 10,000 apprehensions at the Southwest border. There were also 0 illegal aliens released along the Southwest border for the second consecutive month in a row. President Trump promised to end the illegal alien invasion, and he has delivered on that promise to the American people in record time. With the border sealed, deportations are ramping up. This past weekend, our brave ICE agents were arresting violent criminal illegal aliens all across the country. ICE Atlanta arrested an illegal alien from Mexico, convicted of attempted rape of a child in North Carolina. ICE Baltimore arrested an illegal alien from Guatemala who was previously convicted for sexual abuse of a minor in Maryland. ICE Houston arrested a criminal illegal alien from Mexico whose previous conviction includes aggravated sexual assault of a child in Texas. ICE Salt Lake, ICE San Antonio, ICE, including everyone in this room, safe. The facility, sorry, 1 second. In other news, following President Trump's bold executive actions protecting will they're irreversible and harmful services that feed into the lie that you can somehow change a child's sex. Immediately and send it to the president's desk for signature. On another note, I know that many in the media have been speculating about bruising on the president's hand and also swelling in the president's legs. So in the effort of transparency, the president wanted me to share a note from his physician with all of you today. In recent weeks, President Trump noted mild swelling in his lower legs. In keeping with routine
Okay. Mild. Okay.
medical care and out of an abundance of caution, this concern was thoroughly evaluated by the White House medical unit. The president underwent a comprehensive examination, including diagnostic vascular studies. Bilateral lower extremity venous Doppler ultrasounds were performed and revealed chronic venous insufficiency, a benign and common condition, particularly in individuals over the age of 70. Importantly, there was no evidence of deep vein thrombosis or arterial disease. Laboratory testing included a complete blood count, comprehensive metabolic panel, coagulation profile, D-dimer, B-type natriuretic peptide, and cardiac biomarkers. All results were within normal limits. An echocardiogram was also performed and confirmed normal cardiac structure and function. No signs of heart failure, renal impairment, or systemic illness were identified. Additionally, recent photos of the president have shown minor bruising on the back of his hand. This is consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin, which is taken as part of a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. This is a well-known and benign side effect of aspirin therapy, and the president remains in excellent health. Additionally, recent photos of the president have shown minor bruising on the back of his hand. This is consistent with minor soft tissue irritation from frequent handshaking and the use of aspirin, which is taken as part of a standard cardiovascular prevention regimen. This is a well-known and benign side effect of aspirin therapy, and the president remains in excellent health, which I think all of you witness on a daily basis here. So the president wanted me to share that note with all of you. I'm happy to take further questions on it. We will provide the memorandum from the president's position to all of you, as we always do, and we'll get to questions. Here in our new media seat, we have Frank Corva, who's the White House correspondent for Bitcoin Magazine, which comes at a timely week with crypto legislation moving across Capitol Hill. So why don't you kick us off?
Why would you... Is there a reason to be taking aspirin daily if you aren't already diagnosed with some kind of heart condition? Do you just start doing that at a certain age for no reason? Or would you have to already be at risk or have something? Where's KKMD? You can, if you don't have a history of GI bleeding, it decreases your risk of heart attacks. Okay.
Frank, and thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it, Ms. Levin.
Sure.
I was curious to hear if the president was in favor of removing any and all language around central bank digital currencies from the Genius Act, maybe as a means to get it across the line and get it on his desk. And then my second question was about something the president spoke about in this room. He talked about a $600 de minimis tax exemption for Bitcoin and other crypto spending. So I was just wondering if you could comment on those.
Sure. Well, the president did signal his support for a de minimis exemption for crypto, and the administration continues to be in support of that. We are definitely receptive to it to make crypto payments easier and more efficient for those who seek to use crypto as simple as buying a cup of coffee. Of course, right now that cannot happen, but with the de minimis exemption, perhaps it could in the future, and we will continue to explore legislative solutions to accomplish that. As for the central bank digital currency and the Genius Act, which you noted has passed through Congress and will be sent to the president's desk. I believe the House is voting on it. If they haven't, they should be passing it. We know we have the votes, and we expect it to get to the president's desk, and we are planning a signing ceremony tomorrow afternoon. All of you will get more details on that. This piece of legislation is going to make America the crypto capital of the world, and that's what the president promised. As for a central bank digital currency, the president opposes that. He made that promise to the American people on the campaign, and while it's not in this specific piece of legislation, he did sign a January executive order banning a central bank digital currency. The administration supports Congress's efforts to codify that executive order into law, and I believe there will be future pieces of legislation in regards to crypto that will be moving through Capitol Hill. The president looks forward to signing them, and he looks forward to the signing ceremony this afternoon. So thank you for being with us today. Sure. Jackie.
Thank you, Caroline. There's been a lot of discussion about the Epstein files and the president's comments yesterday calling it a hoax. Can you clarify which part of the Epstein hoax is the hoax?
A lot of older people take low-dose aspirin daily to reduce the risk of heart attack or stroke. Yeah, but is that because they're obese and so they're at a higher risk for heart attack? Therefore they take aspirin because the risk or the benefit outweighs the risk, or is it just like a random thing that every single old person takes?
Part. The president is referring to the fact that Democrats have now seized on this as if they ever wanted transparency when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, which is an asinine suggestion for any Democrat to make. The Democrats had control of this building, the White House, for 4 years, and they didn't do a dang thing when it came to transparency in regards to Jeffrey Epstein and his heinous crimes. It was this president who directed the Department of Justice and the Attorney General to do an exhaustive review of all files related to Jeffrey Epstein, which they did. The Attorney General and the FBI, led by Pam Bondi, Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, these are great patriots, some of the most trusted voices in the Republican Party movement. It's part of the reason the president appointed them to these high law enforcement positions, and they spent many months going through all of the files related to Jeffrey Epstein, and they concluded what they found in that memo, which they drafted and they released. And so the president has been transparent. He has followed through on his promises to the American people, but he doesn't like to see Democrats and the mainstream media covering this like it's the biggest story that the American people care about. The president has been working so hard this week. On Tuesday, he went to Pennsylvania, where he secured $90 billion in investments for the Commonwealth, for the people of that state. After that, he came back to the Oval Office at 8 p.m. He went in there to whip votes to get the Genius Act signed into law. And because of his efforts, that bill is now going to be signed and passed.
Yeah, Wang Sima, that's my understanding. Yeah. I don't think that if a person is of like good health, even if they're old, I don't think you would recommend aspirin daily. I think that there are a combination of factors that can start to outweigh risk of stroke or whatever other stuff. So like your cholesterol, your blood pressure, history of whatever, than you would. I'm only bringing this up. I wouldn't like severely indict somebody for taking aspirin if they're 80, but it's just the fact that we've been told over and over again that Trump was in perfect health. He's taking aspirin every day. So I was like, something on his test scores or whatever were looking not the best, because they told us he had you said your ASCVD score, they told us that his blood pressure was perfect. Did they say he had high cholesterol? I don't remember. They might have said his cholesterol was a little high, and I'm pretty sure he's at least overweight. I don't know about obese.
The following day, yesterday, he meets with a foreign leader, the King of Bahrain, to secure more investments into this country. And then yesterday afternoon, the president is in the East Room of the White House mourning with parents who have lost their children because of fentanyl, signing a bipartisan piece of legislation. And not a single cable network in this country took that event live and covered that event like they should. Those are.
Do you still hold a negative opinion of Brian Johnson? I do, but not a strong one. The little bit I glean, he seems a little pseudoscience-y, and I don't know. But I haven't dug into him a lot, so I hold a slightly negative opinion, but with very low conviction.
The issues the president cares about, what could be more important to the American people than helping families who have lost their children? Those are the issues this president is going to remain focused on.
I understand he wants to move on from the story, but you do have some prominent figures, including the Senate Majority Leader, the House Speaker, voicing support for the files to come out. Representative Massey collecting signatures that would force a discharge petition for a vote on the floor for this. It doesn't seem to be going away. What is stopping the administration from just redacting any sensitive information, grand jury information, putting out what is appropriate so that the American people can decide and then let this story die?
Well, in terms of redactions or
putting out what is appropriate so that the American people can decide and then let this story die.
Well, in terms of redactions or grand jury seals, those are questions for the Department of Justice. Those are also questions for the judges who have that information under a seal, and that would have to be requested, and a judge would have to approve it. That's out of the president's control.
That's a lie. That's a fucking lie.
Said in agreement with some of the leaders on
judges, what information under seal? What, they sealed information? That, like, sealing information is part of a court case or something. Also, you're telling me that, like, what are they even pursuing to get unsealed? Show us the motion they filed for. Like, this is just fucking not true.
Capitol Hill, that if the Attorney General and the Department of Justice come across any other credible evidence, they should provide that to the American people. The president has said that, and he agrees with them on that.
Why did you fire Maureen Comey?
The Department of Justice did, and I would defer you to them. Dasha.
Has the White House been directly in touch with some of the MAGA influencers that are still not satisfied with the administration's handling, and has a message to them been similar to what the president has said, which is sort of either let this go or we don't need your support?
Well, look, the president and this team are always in contact with the president's supporters with voices of many kinds on both sides of the aisle. I think that's part of the reason this president is a great president, because he's willing to listen and hear other people's perspectives, but ultimately he has led this country, not just over the past 6 months to historic success, but also through his first 4 years as president. And as the leader and the creator of the MAGA movement, he has led through these perilous times for our country based on instinct and in the best interest of the country. And as I always say, the American people should trust in President Trump.
John, go ahead,
John.
Thanks a lot, Caroline. The president on Monday announced that if there's not compliance with Russia within 50 days, there would be increased tariffs. Can you explain how that works, first of all? What happened?
No, I'm okay. I don't care. Just as a heads up, you guys should be praying for Trump to survive his presidency so much. And there's going to be an awkward conversation. No, we won't have to worry about it because the Democrats wouldn't gain enough in the Senate. But if they did, we would have to have an awkward conversation about Trump's impeachment. We cannot impeach Trump. Trump is the only thing right now that is protecting us from utter fucking catastrophe, because a Trump presidency is infinitely better, as unbelievable as that is, to a J.D. Vance presidency. The only way, okay, that we would ever get rid of Trump is if we could get rid of Vance too. So holy fuck. Why do you say that? Because Vance is evil. Trump is just a narcissistic dipshit. Vance is a lot smarter than Trump, though. Trump just fired the person who prosecuted Epstein. Nothing to see here. What's this? Sprague and MSNBC. Maureen Comey, the daughter of former FBI Director Jim Comey. Why the fuck is Jim short for James? Bro, I don't like. We just do a lot of weird things with names. It triggers the fuck out of me. Was terminated today. She was a long-time Southern District of New York prosecutor. Why the fuck was she fired? Are we just firing people who are family members of people that we don't like? Oh, why did they fire her?
Has fired Maureen. Another one is that tonight we learned that the DOJ has fired Maureen Comey, who's a well-respected federal prosecutor who also happens to be, I like to phrase it that way, the daughter of former FBI Director James Comey from her job in the Southern District of New York. And she worked, and I started the show talking about this, in the U.S. Attorney's Office for nearly a decade, where, among other things, she handled high-profile sex trafficking prosecutions and was responsible for prosecuting both Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Could you elaborate on Vance being worse? Not saying you're wrong, I just don't know about him. Vance would legitimately try to be like an authoritarian leader, like a fascist. Like, he unironically would try to, and he would try to like bend the levers of power in government in a way that he could do just like grotesquely evil things. That speech that he gave in front of European leaders about how they didn't have freedom of speech because they approach hate crimes, it was just unbelievably crazy. But he's not. But Donald Trump is just insanely narcissistic. Donald Trump, I would defend Donald Trump against claims of fascism with the defense that Donald Trump is too stupid to be a fascist. Like, he doesn't even have the mental capacity for that type of governance. Like, he's an idiot. But Vance, like, would he go all the way or could he go all the way? I don't know. But I just from what I've seen and how he argues about things and the way that he defends stuff, like him saying he would go through with the J6 stuff. If he was president, him attacking all the European leaders when he was invited to that conference in Europe was crazy for the United States. That was insane. It's not good.
And was responsible for prosecuting both Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. What's your reaction to the reporting, and what do you make of it?
You know, none of this is good news for the Trump administration or the American people, for that matter, because either she was fired because she's James Comey's daughter, which would be totally inappropriate and a wrongful termination, or she was fired because she was prosecuting Epstein and his accomplices. And why would they fire her over that? And why would they fire her now? So none of this makes any sense, or none of it has a good or innocent explanation to it, which is why they're just continuing to.
Is Johnson preferable? I think Johnson might even be worse than the other two. I don't know, bro. That's a long line of horrible fucking people.
The founder over this. They created this conspiracy theory. They fed this conspiracy theory. And now they have a MAGA base that has bought into it. And Donald Trump's at the point of calling his own supporters weaklings who bought into this bullshit that he was peddling, among others. So this is just widening and expanding upon all of the distrust of Donald Trump by his own base. And I think that's the ultimate impact.
Apparently she released a message to her friends, or she posted on, or this was posted on Blue Sky, but. Yesterday was unexpectedly my last day in the office. I was summarily fired via memo from Maine Justice. They did not give a reason for my termination. What is Maine Justice? Like the Justice Department's main office or something? Every person lucky enough to work in this office constantly hears 4 words to describe our ethos: without fear or favor. Do the right thing the right way for the right reasons without fear of retribution, and without favor to the powerful. For the majority of my nearly 10 years in the Southern District of New York, the hard part seemed to be acting without favor. That is, making sure people with access, money, and power were not treated differently than anyone else, and making sure this office remained separate from politics and focused only on the facts and the law. Fear was never really conceivable. We don't fear bad press. We have the luxury of exceptional security, keeping us physically safe. And so long as we did our work with integrity, we would get to keep serving the public in this office. We've entered a new phase where without fear may be the challenge. If a career prosecutor can be fired without reason, fear may seep into the decisions of those who remain. Do not let that happen. Fear is the tool of a tyrant, wielded to suppress independent thought. Instead of fear, let this moment feel the fire that already burns at the heart of this place, a fire of righteous indignation and abuses of power, of commitment to seek justice for victims, of dedication to truth above all else. It has been an honor to fight for those principles by your side, Maureen. Median salary, federal prosecutor. What do you think these guys even get paid? I don't know how accurate ZipRecruiter is, but Jesus. Anywhere from 80 to 90K? Damn. These are big jobs. Important stuff. Why? Okay, don't care. Buried deep in the bones of the Epstein saga is a very real battle between classes. Donald Trump began his political career by calling out the elite pedophile class by name. It's true, look it up. I thought he began his political career by saying that Obama was actually a secret citizen from Kenya. That's what I remember.
Care less. There are elites in our society that could care less about the lives of the hundreds of millions of regular people in this nation, of which I am and you are. And in fact, they abuse us. And they abuse us as tax cattle to fund their foreign wars, and they abuse us as, as sex slaves. Like when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein, who, according to all available documentation, sent Ghislaine Maxwell to go cruise trailer parks to go find broken women from broken homes, to entrap them and abuse them, and then serially abuse them throughout the world. That's how the operation worked. It's well documented. That's what they did. They preyed on the working class. They preyed on people that were not born with the same privileges or had the same intelligence relationships as they did with domestic and foreign powers that could plunk millions of dollars in their bank accounts to go buy private jets and islands. Most people don't have that. Okay, nobody I know has that. And so we see this, like the way that this is seen, the lens that this is seen from, and I'm trying to reorient this because I thought like maybe the messaging isn't getting through. The message is getting through, in fact. But I'm going to do my level-headed best to just put it into a MAGA prism here, shall we? The MAGA prism has always been President Trump calling out the elites to their faces. The prism has always been Donald Trump looking into the skull of Hillary Clinton and going, you created ISIS. You created these wars. You're going to attack me for loopholes that you wrote. Donald Trump is the king of class warfare, even though he does come from quite a privileged class, meaning he is himself a billionaire. And it's the magic of Donald Trump to understand these issues. And so that's why we call out from the wilderness about them, and we try and explain what this is truly about. And I can just like see things in a simple binary. Like we just see the black and white here. We see it's spiritual warfare, and it's also class warfare. It's the elites versus us. It's them coming down here and abusing us, and abusing these poor broken people who come from the same place you and I come from, right? I was raised near a lot of trailer parks.
Was he?
And I'm telling you.
Why do you say raised near a lot of trailer parks? That makes me wonder.
Like that, them getting away with it is like the last straw for so many people.
Benny Johnson. Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Okay. What happened with the QAnon people? Their president. What do you mean? Wasn't the child SA stuff their whole thing? What's going on with their insanity? I mean, they're throwing up their upsetness, I guess, their contentions with it. But I mean, I feel like it's, as long as they ignore it and keep pushing forward, I think they'll get through it. Trump can get through it. Just ignore it and keep on trucking.
List. Release the list.
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
Release.
I think part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yes.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Oh my God.
Do you think Reid Hoffman's uncomfortable?
Yes.
Some of those billionaires, you were the richest billionaire in the world, right? I think he still is. Like, you don't know anything about this? You don't have any more information about this? Wouldn't you be, like, invited to this? Nobody wanted to blackmail you?
Yeah.
And Gates.
And Gates.
Oh, you're just throwing random names out there. Bill Gates, for sure.
And Gates.
And Gates.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I only ask that because you just look at them and you're like, that's a nervous person right there. I don't know. I mean, I assume you know them. Yeah.
Yes.
And Elon's not?
Reid Hoffman was my vice president of business development at PayPal.
Yeah.
24 years ago.
Does he seem nervous to you?
Yeah, I mean, he's terrified of a Trump victory.
Because of the disclosure that would follow?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think he's certainly ideologically not aligned with Trump anyway, but I think he is concerned about the Epstein situation.
Mm-hmm.
Calling the Epstein well, President Trump, as you know, is calling the Epstein controversy BS. He's actually labeling Republicans as, these are his words, stupid and foolish, even calling his own supporters weaklings for not letting this story go. And he says he doesn't want their support anymore.
Ooh.
What's your response to President Trump?
President Trump has his own opinions, but honestly, ma'am, he wins. Just like tonight, the cryptocurrency bill, it passed in the House because President Trump negotiated.
In the House? Well, maybe is it set to or expected to pass the Senate?
He has a strategy in all this, and I suspect that's going to play out because, dadgummit, he wins every dadgum. And I suspect that's going to play out because, dadgummit, he wins every dadgum time. The big beautiful bill hitting Iran the way they did with no American loss of life.
Wow.
It's uncanny that he ends up on top. And
That's crazy. Those two huge wins. So we got a massive budget that fucked their promises of reducing the deficit or debt at all, and he did a military strike. Wow.
I suspect on this case he will do as well.
And you don't have any concern that, well, President Trump, as you know, is calling the Epstein controversy BS. He's actually
What does this stupid fucking bill do? Crypto market structure bill. Stop. The agreement would have added language from the Travis negotiations. Crypto market structure bill, sometimes referred to as the Clarity Act, aims to provide clear rules for the crypto market by drawing bright lines between oversight by the SEC and the CFTC. She's alongside called the financial. Okay, I don't. All right, whatever. I don't know what it is.
Hey, old timer, you ready to rock?
I'm ready to roll, baby!
What the fuck?
That shit?
Why?
Nah, I'm just fucking lazy. Let's go kill this thing! Hoorah! Double time!
Okay.
Transparency. I'm saying the same thing the president. We're for transparency. I'm saying the same thing the president is that. I mean, you need to have all of the credible information released for the American people to make their decision. We trust the American people, and I know the president does as well. That's an important principle to abide by here. What they have to do, though, what the president has to do is protect the innocent. I mean, there are, whistleblowers and minors' names involved in things related to Epstein, obviously, and you got to be careful not to release that.
The Republican Party is going to fall apart when Trump dies. You mean after this term? Not that he's going to die after this term, but if he doesn't run again, who knows?
Everything else is so strong, we're bullying through the rates, the high interest rates. The housing market would boom if this, numbskull, he's a numbskull. And if this guy would, can you imagine, we're talking about housing, he's building a building, he's building an addition, I guess for more people to tell him what to do, and he's always wrong. They had 71 different geniuses that they interviewed and that were put up. You probably saw that. I did. And with predictions. And the only one that got it right was me and one other person. 69 were wrong. This guy got it wrong, and he wants to put in thousands of additional people to tell him what to say.
Thousands?
I mean, how many people do you need? Read a newspaper and make your own decision, right?
Are you
true? Just read a newspaper and then control the world economy.
Thinking of removing him, or do you think he resigns before his term's out, Jerome Powell?
This feels like the first time in years that the Republicans don't have a consistent party message. Well, I think because they're torn between a couple things. One, it seems like there are some mischievous schemers, and then there are some just fucking retards that get dragged along. And one issue you have is the president is a retard. He's not a schemer. Trump is not a schemer. He's retarded. So I think a lot of Republicans genuinely don't know the status of the Epstein stuff, or they really thought that there was a black book and a list of clients. And so they're not sure, do we follow the president's messaging here, or do we push for a list that we thought existed, but maybe it doesn't? And then the president himself is trying to be on message, but this was a really big thing that they pushed and signaled on. And for them to just walk back on it now is really testing the limits of the amount of sycophantic cult control he has over everybody. But I mean, we'll see what happens, I guess, in a couple weeks.
I'd love if he wants to resign. That would be up to him. They say it would disrupt the market if I did, but there are many people say he should be removed because of the fraud of what he's doing at the Fed with regard to the $2.5 billion. He's spending $2.5 billion to I guess it's a renovation. I don't know.
That's all it is. It's just a renovation.
I'm very good at that stuff. I should go look at it at least. I feel,
yeah, we got a story up on it today. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
The building costs less to build than it's cost to renovate. It's insane. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like one of the most expensive buildings in the world. He's putting all sorts of parks on the top of the building and this, that. And I guarantee the contractors are making a fortune. No, this is not a guy. This is a guy who was recommended. He was recommended to me by Mnuchin. And he not worked out good.
It's literally the do stupid shit, then reverse it meme in real life.
Okay, so this guy's got to lower rates immediately. And I mean this guy, I mean Jerome. Funny name for a white guy, isn't it? So he's got job growth, he's got inflation under control, and okay.
Okay. Oh, he had something in here about the crypto bill. Is this just creating some framework or structure by which to regulate cryptocurrency, I guess? I have no idea what this bill actually does. I've been speaking to Coca-Cola about using real cane sugar in Coke in the United States, and they have agreed to do so. I'd like to thank all of those in authority at Coca-Cola. This will be a very good move by them. You'll see. It's just... Wait, really? No shot. A Coca-Cola spokesperson said the company appreciates Trump's enthusiasm for its brand, but did not go as far as confirming such a move. Okay. Dismantle the backbone of U.S. scientific and R&D capacity. What is NSF? National Science Foundation? I don't know what half these stand for. NASA Science, ARPA-E, DOE Science? Is that all the Department of Education? These are the cuts? We won't even see these for the negative impacts for quite a while. Oh boy. All right, what's up, buddy?
Hey, bud. Just coming over to let everybody know that volume number 20, the Big XX, is out for everybody to read of Pragmatic Papers. We've got some. My daughter's home today. She can hear me talking, so she wants me to come play with her. We're gonna make this quick. There are some really good ones in here. There's an article by Reason Riffs about some leaked AfD plans to take over the German government. There's an article focusing on Medicare and the changes coming from it for the big beautiful bill.
Wait, Medicare
And there's
or
really
Medicaid?
good- Medicaid.
Okay.
Yeah, specifically, actually, something that I didn't realize happened in it is that it's actually either lowering the eligibility for immigrants to receive emergency care and things like that, or Medicaid and Medicare, but then also they're matching a lower amount of funds for illegal immigrants whenever they get emergency care. So it's just a bunch of ways to de-incentivize the states from caring for non-citizens or illegal immigrants. And then the last one I wanted to point out was there's a good one about settler violence in the West Bank. It's a really great article, and I think just since October 7th, there's not as much talk about that as there was in the past, and stuff is still ongoing, and it's a really good thing to discuss. Also, everybody that's been giving us feedback on the website and everything, we super appreciate it. And we're still working on a lot of great stuff, and we've got some stuff on the way. So thanks for the support, everybody. And y'all go check out the papers. You as well, Destiny. I think you would really enjoy reading some of it.
Okay. I'll keep it in mind. I love you, babe.
You too.
Be careful.
Thanks.
You've done enough. But the Dems are great at saying, yeah, it didn't work out the first time, but just give us a chance and we'll make it better. This is why Trump is good. Even when you're pissed off about Epstein, he's not perfect. But when he's not perfect, he's still good. The problem with all these other things that Dems do, they have to be perfect to work. So it's like capitalism. It can be frustrating and it can be prone to flaws, but it doesn't have to be perfect to make the world work. You've done enough.
True. Trump is like capitalism based. We watched this yesterday, I think, didn't we?
This is what
the Nazi thing. Stupid.
He's a
we saw this.
terrible Fed chair. I was surprised he was appointed. I was surprised, frankly, that Biden put him in and extended him. It is my pleasure and my honor to announce my nomination of Jerome Powell to be the next chairman of the Federal Reserve. Congratulations.
Stephen Miller, is there an internment camp in the Everglades, Miller?
What's the name of this Fox News host again? This guy? Is it Jesse something? This guy is evil. Every time I see this guy, he's up to some evil, no good shit. Waters? Jesse Waters? Okay. Jesus Christ.
There is an ICE facility that provides a far superior level of housing and accommodation than is available to millions of Americans who are living in Section 8 housing and other low-income areas of our own blighted cities, like Baltimore, like Detroit, like Chicago. How many Americans are living in abominable conditions compared to the pristine conditions of our ICE facilities and our Border Patrol facilities? Look, at every turn, illegal aliens have always been treated better than Americans. The difference is, in this administration, they're getting a ticket out of America so that we can take care of our own people. Do you have any idea how many resources will be opened up for Americans when the illegals are gone? No more waiting in line at an emergency room? No more massive traffic in Los Angeles?
I love these new talking points that are, this is the new lie that it's just illegal immigrants are why we have traffic in LA. It's just like all these bizarro fucking claims. Like what's no more servers down every time the next version of Diablo comes out. No more waiting for emails to take so long to arrive in your inbox. No more waiting forever for updates on like
your health insurance premiums go down. Your public school classroom size will shrink.
Why would your health insurance premiums go down? Most illegal immigrants are, if they have insurance. Well, I guess they wouldn't even have insurance. How the fuck would they affect your insurance at all? I guess if you argue that illegal immigrants are consuming a lot of healthcare in emergency rooms, then the increased cost to hospitals would eventually lead to a pass on to people. I feel like emergency rooms are probably not that big of an expense compared to other forms of healthcare that are delivered in the United States. That'd be my guess. My guess is that the massive cost is going to be fucking end-of-life care. And by end-of-life care, I mean the 20 years of old people care is probably your hugest one. And then there's probably going to be like certain chronic management that is huge in terms of cost. So things like with chemotherapy, that probably would count as a chronic thing, I guess. But big treatments over long periods of time or huge surgeries or whatever. I seriously doubt like emergency rooms are a huge component of cost for U.S. healthcare.
Your health insurance premiums go down. Your public school classroom size will shrink dramatically. They have more time to educate every student. You won't have to compete for public benefits. If you're down in your luck, you're having a hard time, and you do need to get support from the government, you're not going to be in line behind millions of illegal aliens from the third world. This is going to be such a gift to the quality of life.
Like, where are you at? Are you at like the illegal immigrant hotspot restaurant where you're having to wait all day? Like, your pizza deliveries will be in half the time. DoorDash and Uber Eats delivery times will fall. The people at Subway will always be happy to see you.
Everyday Americans, Jesse, it's hard to even express the wonders that await for working people.
Well, I mean, you have
Destiny. They absolutely are destiny. They make up huge costs because no one can be turned away. You understand that that's true for citizens as well, right? Like, my guess is there's probably probably 95% of the people that go to, or 98% of the people that go to emergency are probably like U.S. citizens or like people on legal green cards or visas, unless you literally get like in some catastrophic work accident or whatever, would be my guess.
Had me at no traffic in LA. If you guys can get that message broadcast loud and clear over there, I mean, I think you'll have a lot of those people in LA saying adios themselves. When you're hearing stories, Miller, about people self-deporting, what do we know about how many people have decided to just pack up and leave themselves?
Well, based on the labor force data, so as you know, under the Biden administration, all job growth on net since Biden came into office went to foreigners, e.g., they went to the migrants. What
does foreigners mean here? Like immigrants who are citizens or green card holders, or just like visa holders? Or
Trump, all job gains have gone to Americans. Looking at labor force data, we believe there's already been 1 million self-deportations.
Wow.
So we are well on our way here. If we stay the course, Jesse, and if illegal aliens understand the consequences of staying versus the opportunities of leaving, we're going to see millions and millions more self-deportations. Because if you stay, here's the consequences. You face sudden arrest, sudden deportation, you face the potential garnishment of all of your income, all of your wages, the loss of your property, incarceration and imprisonment for immigration and other crimes. If you choose to self-deport, you can go back home. You do have the opportunity to apply for legal entry if you wish to do so in the future, and you're going to get a $1,000 check on your way out. So it's a very clear choice, and we're seeing over 1 million legal aliens are clearly choosing just to go back to their countries.
Is that true? Have we paid $1 billion in checks for people leaving? Is that?
But look, at the end of the day, what this really comes down to is this, Jesse. Who lives in your country determines what your country is. Right? Haiti doesn't work as a country.
This stuff is really weird. These are like neo-Nazi talking points. But the Stephen Miller guy is evil, so he might be like a neo-Nazi or in that direction. Like he's much, much, much further down than even the average MAGA person is.
Right? Haiti doesn't work as a country. Like, it just doesn't. People have tried forever. People have spent billions of dollars trying to make Haiti work as a project. Haiti doesn't work. If you take Haiti and you move it to America, it's not going to work here. Somalia doesn't work as a country, has never worked as a country. You take Somalia out of Somalia, you put it here, it's not going to work any better. It's not about how you feel about an individual immigrant. It's about the policy at a systemic scale. If you move the third world to the first world, eventually we become the third world. And that's not good for us. And it's not good for anybody who wants to live here in the future.
All right, Stephen Miller breaking it all down. Thank you so much. Good to see you. We don't have time for Rules for Men. We'll get to that next time. I know you got a lot.
Wow.
Bottom line is this. Democrats are behind their 2006 and 2018 paces when it comes to the generic congressional ballot. What are we talking about here? All right, the Democrats versus the Republicans on the generic congressional ballot, the margins. Look at where we are now. Democrats are ahead, but by just 2 points. Look at where Democrats were already ahead by in 2017. They were behind by 7 points. How about 2005 on the generic congressional ballot? Ahead by 7 points, ahead.
What is this polling, or what are we comparing an aggregate of I don't even know what the fuck this is.
By 7 points, and now they're only ahead by 2 points. Their lead is less than half of where it was in either 2017 or 2005.
I like how Republicans will literally just make shit up constantly, and the Democrats are like scrounging for what data do we have right now to make us look bad and to make it look like it's fucking hopeless.
In July
Jesus.
of those years, the year before the midterm election, yes, Donald Trump may be unpopular, but Democrats have not come anywhere close to sealing the deal at this particular point.
Yeah, wave looks very different.
Yes.
All right, this is the generic ballot test. This is when you test people in a generic question. Of course, the House races aren't generic. There are 435 of them. What happens when you go race by race?
What happens when you go race by race? Well, it's the same idea. Okay, House seat ratings with a GOP president, like back in 2005 and, of course, 2017. More net pickup seat chances. Well, last time around, look at that. Democrats were ahead by 33 seats. How about in 2005? Democrats were ahead by 7 seats. What's going on right now? It's actually Republicans. Actually, Republicans with more net pickup chances at plus 12, according to the Cook Political Report, when you add in the likelies, the leans, and the toss-up races. So it's not just on the generic ballot where Democrats are behind their 2017 and 2005 pace. It's actually when it comes seat by seat, you see that, at least at this particular point, Republicans actually have more net pickup opportunities. This doesn't look anything like those wave elections back in 2006 or 2018.
If it doesn't look anything like those years, what does it look like?
Okay, so what does it look like? Well, let's take a look back at the generic congressional ballot. What was going on in Ipsos in October of 2024? Democrats were ahead by 2 points. Look at where we are now. Democrats ahead by 2 points among registered voters. At this particular point, this election cycle looks a lot more like 2024 than it does than either 2018 or 2006. And so, of course, Republicans actually held onto the House back.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for that. Okay.
Ground states. Republicans, time to fight. Show some self-dignity. We can win New York City. And I need your help to do it. Go to Sliwa for NYC.com. Sliwa for NYC.com. It's a statistical tie, and I have a pathway to victory. Ground states. Republicans, time to.
Okay. Israel bombs Syrian capital despite U.S. pressure to stand down. It's asked Israel to halt its strikes on Syrian government targets and order talks with Damascus. U.S. officials are highly concerned that the Israeli attacks, including on Syrian military headquarters in Damascus and near the presidential palace, could destabilize the new Syrian government. The officials said the past 48 hours could seriously undermine progress towards a new security agreement between Israel and Syria as a first step toward normalization. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told reporters Wednesday that the U.S. was very concerned about the Israeli strikes in Syria and wants the fighting to stop. Why is Israel fucking this shit up with the new government? Why? In recent days, there have been clashes between a Druze militia and a Bedouin gang in the city of Suwaida in southern Syria. There has been sporadic violence between members of the two minority groups since dictator Bashar al-Assad was toppled in December and replaced by ex-militant Ahmed al-Shara. When the Syrian government sent in tanks to try to restore order, the Israeli Air Force attacked those tanks. The U.S. officials said Syria notified Israel in advance about the tanks and said its response was not directed at Israel. But Israeli officials claim the tanks entered a zone that Israel, which is occupying parts of western Syria, has demanded be demilitarized with heavy weapons. Over the last 24 hours, clashes continued in Suwaida between the Druze, the Bedouins, militias affiliated with the Syrian government, and Syrian security forces, according to the Syrian Human Rights Observatory in London. At least 250 people have been killed. They argue that they're defending Druze dudes. Okay, well, Israel has a huge ability to negotiate both diplomatically and militarily. Like, they have threats of this, so I feel like they should be able to figure something out without going right to... Did I misread this? Are they literally bombing Damascus? That's what the headline said.
אני מבקש לעדכן אתכם מה עשינו בסוריה ומה נעשה בסוריה. אנחנו קבענו מדיניות ברורה. פירוז המרחב דרומית לדמשק מהגולן ועד אזור הר הדרוזים. זה קו אחד. הקו השני, שמירה על האחים של האחים שלנו, הדרוזים בהר הדרוזים. שני הדברים האלה הופרו על ידי המשטר בדמשק. הוא שלח צבא דרומית לדמשק, לתוך האזור שצריך להיות מפורט.
How far is Damascus from the Golan Heights? It's fairly close, isn't it? Am I making this up? Hold on. 30 miles. Yeah, it's pretty fucking close. How? I don't know why you would agree to demilitarize all of the area to the south of your capital. What is the incentive for the new Syrian government to do this?
והוא התחיל לטבוח בדרוזים. את זה לא יכולנו לקבל בשום צורה. ולכן הנחיתי את צה"ל לפעול ולפעול בעוצמה. חיל האוויר תקף גם את כנופיות הרצח וגם את הרקם, והוספתי יד גם לתקוף בדמשק את משרד הביטחון. תוצאה מהפעילות העצומה.
The Israeli Druze are actively asking the IDF to get involved, and hundreds of Israeli Druze have crossed the border into Syria to help fight and protect Syrian Druze. It's kind of a big deal. Sure, they can go and do that. But if Israeli planes are striking the new Syrian government's military vehicles, like, I don't know why you would. It's just you're fucking your shit up. I don't know. Wait, let me finish watching this before we watch this.
הזאת השתררה הפסקת אש והכוחות הסורים נסוגו חזרה לדמשק. זה חשוב, זה הפסקת אש שהושגה מתוך עוצמה. לא מתוך בקשות, לא מתוך תכנונים, מתוך עוצמה. ואנחנו משיגים שלום מתוך עוצמה, שקט מתוך עוצמה, ביטחון מתוך עוצמה, בשבע חזיתות. זו גם תהיה המשך המדיניות שלנו. לא נאפשר לכוחות צבא לרדת דרומית לדמשק, לא נאפשר לפגוע בדרוזים בג'בל דרוז. אני רוצה לשתף אתכם בדבר שריגש אותי מאוד ביומיים האחרונים. פנה אליי השייך מואפק טריף, מנהיג הדרוזים בישראל. הוא אמר לי את הדבר הבא. הוא אמר לי, בזמן השואה,
Holocaust.
אתם היהודים קראתם לעזרה ואף אחד לא בא. היום טובחים בנו הדרוזים ואנחנו קוראים לעזרה של מדינת ישראל. ואני אמרתי, הוא צודק, ופעלנו ונמשיך לפעול לפי הצורך.
The group Al-Hajiri that Israel's defending is fucking evil and hated by most Jews. Their extremists have violated 3 ceasefires in the last 48 hours. They ambushed and killed 18... Everybody violates ceasefires all the time. The ceasefire stuff is... Ceasefires have always been a meme in this region. And in most places, ceasefires are like kind of memey. But... They're trying to demilitarize Syria next to the Golan. Okay, but the whole point of capturing the Golan Heights was the same as the West Bank, which was the same as the Sinai, which was to create a buffer zone, right? So why would they need another buffer zone? Like, we need to capture this, so we have a buffer zone. It's like, okay, we've got it. It's like, okay. But now, our buffer zone is right next to your country. We need a buffer zone for the buffer zone. It's like, okay. We need you to demilitarize Damascus because Damascus is right next to our new buffer zone. Like, what? I don't understand. What? Based. Syria's southwest province of Ceuta has seen 5 days of chaotic, complex conflict now. But as with previous bouts of hostilities in recent months, the information space has been plagued by disinformation. Oh, but Charles Lister, he's going to tell it like it is. On July 11th, Bedouin gunmen ambushed a vegetable truck on the Damascus-Ceuta highway, beating the driver and stealing the truck and its contents. The next day, Druze gunmen kidnapped 8 Bedouins as retaliation, triggering Bedouin gunmen to kidnap 5 Druze in response. July 12th saw a flurry of tit-for-tat kidnappings amid attempts by local notables to negotiate a calm-down. Tensions and conflicts between Bedouin clans and Druze militia in Ceuta dates back years, tied to the drugs and weapons trade, control of smuggling routes, and land ownership. This all sounds like local tribe stuff that I read about in that Conflict in the Middle East book or whatever. Like a family would capture one person and then the tribe would capture somebody from the other one, and you would have to bring in like a familially equidistant tribe to come in and negotiate like a calm down or whatever. On July 13th, negotiations broke down and armed conflict erupted in Ceuta between Bedouin clans and Druze militias in western rural Ceuta and in the provincial capital itself. Druze villages were being shelled and Bedouin areas besieged. 30 killed and 100 injured in 24 hours. Okay, well, that's not good. July 14th, after 20 immediate talks, Syria's transitional government intervened, deploying military and interior ministry forces into Ceuta to enforce order and put an end to internal fighting. Until this point, the government had no forces in Ceuta per prior agreements. As Syria government forces entered Ceuta, they were ambushed by Druze militiamen. 10 soldiers were rounded up, executed, and used for celebratory photos. And 8 other soldiers were taken hostage, stripped, and marched to a nearby village. In their underwear, they're believed to be dead now. Oh, they're censored. Intense fighting then ensued as government forces sought to advance in Ceuta. Druze militia shelled the Bedouin district of Makos, killing a child, a photo which became subject to anti-Sunni mockery online, and shelled into eastern Daraa, targeting Sunni Arab villages. As fighting raged on July 14th, Israel began drone strikes in Ceuta, first targeting Syria, military armored vehicles, then pickup trucks of interior ministry forces. While negotiations continued, fighting persisted into July 15th as Israeli airstrikes expanded. Okay, Jesus. Midday on July 15th, the ceasefire was announced by Ceuta's Druze, Christian, and civil council leaders who invited government forces in to secure order. 30 minutes later, when Druze cleric Hikmat al-Hijri rejected the ceasefire and ordered fighting, Israel strikes resumed. Following Hikmat al-Hijri's abrogation of the ceasefire, Israel strikes expanded into Ceuta city, where Jesus Christ. Okay, well, good luck. Ukrainian drones reportedly target Moscow, St. Petersburg amid wider strikes. RIP. Uh-oh. Melania starting to get Russian state media, or to get hate in Russian state media over Ukraine support. Oh no, they're doing the memes. Not the memes.
Oh,
gun to your head. Who do you want controlling Syria, Turkey, or Israel? Sorry, that's an Israel easy. That's the easiest decision of my fucking life.
I'll give you an example. The other week, when I was reading a tweet from my friend who is trans, Juniper, I read out the T word. Okay? Dude,
this is so cringe. I can't believe Hassan is even being held hostage by these fucking people now. Oh my god. You can't read it on a... You can't read the word when it's being said by someone else?
Are you trying to get... You can't... The reason why we still auto-mod it is so that you don't get, like, falsely fucking tagged. Okay? Like, I shouldn't have done that. Anyway, going back to what I was saying, I should have done that, for sure. It's not the end of the world. Obviously, I'm not transphobic. I know that people don't think I'm transphobic. Okay?
Sure.
Like, it's not, you know, it's not worthy of any sort of, like, serious condemnation. If you consider it to be a real indication of, like, genuine transphobia, then I apologize. I'm sorry. But I'm not. I'm not a transphobic person. Oh, I'll give you an example. The other week, when I was reading a tweet from my...
The UK really lowered the voting age to 16 for all of their elections? I saw that headline. What even is the T word? Tranny. Somebody said it in a thing and he read it. Jesus. Okay. I'm gonna go to the restroom and then I have I got a weird thing. One sec. So apparently Lauren De Laguna was really mad that I pointed out that I'm pretty sure she's like been creating accounts and shit on other websites to fabricate evidence. So apparently she decided to call an old law firm that I worked with to leave him a voicemail.
Hi, Carrie Goldberg. My name is Lauren Hayden. Your client is currently defacing me and currently slandering me and defacing. I don't think that was the correct word. He's currently slandering me, and I don't like it. Can you ask Stephen Bonnell to please stop lying about me? He's already shared sexually explicit things between us, and now he is just straight up lying about me. And I am a Florida licensed attorney. I have been biting my tongue because my bar number, and I want to protect it, and I don't want to be involved in all of this madness. But I am deeply upset at your client continuing to share my sexually private, explicit messages.
So when she keeps referencing this, so like I shared a bunch of messages of hers like begging to come over to hook up, basically. The only reason I shared this is because she keeps saying publicly that she said several things. One, she said that we've dated for 9 months and then she dumped me. And then a second thing she has said is that she goes back and forth between these stories where we dated for a little bit and then she dumped me, or I like begged to date her and she turned me down. And I don't know why she keeps saying all of these stories publicly when I've already released like so many texts of, in my opinion, kind of humiliating and embarrassing things. So I don't know why. So she's just going to keep lying about me. I mean, I could just like keep posting conversations of us. Like it's not the case that we were ever dating ever, or that like she turned me down or retarded shit like this. Yeah.
At your client continuing to share my sexually private, explicit messages and images, and for him to continue to lie.
Also, I don't know what images mean. I have no idea what she's talking about there, but okay.
To lie about me. If this continues, I will lose it and I will file a suit. I will. I am close to that, but I am trying to not involve my name in this lawsuit because I am a licensed attorney and I do not want to deal with this, especially because I have my own cases to deal with. But I am getting heightened in my deepened frustration for your client continuously sexualizing and slandering me. It is disgusting. It is disgusting. And you know what? As someone who is so deeply personally connected to people you care about, I think you would do better. But apparently you don't.
She sounds super drunk. Yeah, she might be. Who knows? But Jesus Christ. How'd you get the audio? She just left it as a voicemail. I mean, I don't know why. I have no idea why she would do that. I don't even know what her goal is. Like, I don't know why she would think that that I don't. There's like nothing. It's just I don't know. She's wacky. I want to watch this video. It was just released.
Years since.
Did this guy lose a ton of weight? Am I crazy? Or was he always like in a coat before and I couldn't tell? Oh, maybe I'm just used to seeing him in the... Did we ever see him in a coat? Am I just losing my mind? Oh, no. Huh. I don't know. I'm crazy. Maybe I just saw big hair. I thought big guy.
COVID first started. Time sure flies when you're having fun, right? But after all this time, there are still people arguing about where SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID, came from. The virus was first detected in a city called Wuhan in Hubei province in China. Some people say that the virus came from a lab that was in Wuhan. Others say that it came from live animals being sold at markets in Wuhan. These have been the two main competing ideas practically since the virus emerged. And it is important to actually answer these questions, because SARS-CoV-2 is a virus that killed a confirmed about 6 million. Moren seafood market was in fact the epicenter of the outbreak. The molecular, genetic, and epidemiological evidence continue to support this. And one of the last pieces of evidence I want to highlight here is that while we don't have samples from animals in the market sold at the time of the COVID outbreak, we do have something else. We know that animals being sold at the market were animals that were known to be able to carry coronaviruses capable of jumping from animals to humans. You see, before the outbreak happened, there were already researchers in animals known to carry coronaviruses, like
crystal clear. It's as convincing as the evidence for SARS and for any other emerging disease.
So all of the pieces for an outbreak to naturally happen in the Wuhan seafood market were there.
Okay, boring. Boring.
The president would not recommend. Well, the idea was floated from someone in the media to the president. The president would not recommend a special prosecutor in the Epstein case. That's how he feels. And as for his discussions with the attorney general, I'm not sure.
Good one.
شباب في عندنا قصف شباب قصف يا شباب خذونا على الهواء شباب قصف بسرعة شباب في عندنا
Wait, I don't get this. Hold on. Senate Judiciary Committee Republicans advance nomination of former Trump lawyer Emil Bovee. What are they nominating him for? He was already for the. Oh, they're gonna make him a federal judge. Oh, gross. This is the guy who was writing the letter to Eric Adams, signaling publicly the intent for them to blackmail and extort him into being a tool for the Trump administration while they hold the threat of prosecution over his head. That's totally out in public in the open, and there is not a single human being on earth that can deny that that's what happened, because that is literally exactly what happened.
As much as we appreciate what our mechanics can do
Car shield? What's that?
and who they are, no one looks forward to seeing the inside of an auto shop. Because if you're here, your car is too. And that means something's wrong. And likely it means an expensive repair bill. That is, unless you've called Car Shield. When you call Car Shield before your car breaks down, they have plans that cover up to 5,000 parts and systems of your car. Don't wait.
Wow.
Call Car Shield today before it's too late.
Call 800-788-2415.
Okay.
This has been a very contentious nomination fight that ultimately led to all Democrats who sit on the Senate Judiciary Committee to.
Oh, you need well, one, they have to make it out of the committee, and then two, for confirmations for judges, you need 60, right?
Abruptly walk out as they were objecting to Bovee's nomination to a very powerful appellate court. Right now, he is the number 3.
Wait, no? Do you just need a simple majority? How many senators to confirm a judge? Why are you saying 50? I thought the whole point of like Harriet Reid threatening the nuclear option and everything else was all like you only need 51. Or no, wait. You need 60, but he could change it to 51. Known as the nuclear option for solar. Wait, so is this like permanent landed? So do you only need 51 now? Forever? Oh, okay. Well.
Official at the Justice Department. He was Trump's personal lawyer, but it was a number of things that he has done over his time in office or time working with Donald Trump that has caused concerns among Democrats. Among the things that he's done, he led the investigation into the January 6th prosecutors. He pushed for those charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams to be dropped. A whistleblower also alleged that Bovee told his team to ignore court orders with all the deportation flights that were sending those migrants to that prison in El Salvador. Now, Bovee has defended his record, has pushed back against some of those allegations. Republicans also pushing back all of this. But what happened in this hearing today occurred when Cory Booker, the senator from New Jersey, a Democrat, was railing against this nomination, and Democrats decided to walk out.
Based?
But you have to follow the precedents and procedures of this committee.
This is outrageous that you're not allowing senators to have their fair say before a controversial nominee is being done. This is unbelievable. This is unjust. This is wrong. It is the further deterioration of this committee's integrity with a person.
Hold on, I'm sorry. It's really important that you guys understand this in case anybody brings this up. Somebody in Kick Chat said, why would Trump push for Adams' blatant corruption charges to be dropped? The dude was caught red-handed. They pushed for his charges to be dropped, but only until after the election. The reason why is because if you have a man whose charges you've dropped until after the election, that is a man that you can control. That's why after Eric Adams' charges were dropped, that's why you started to see Eric Adams appear on, fuck, what's the guy's name? I was going to call him like Hogan, or it's not Hogan, or what's the stupid fucking, Hoffman. That's why you start to see these losers showing up together and like being on talk shows and shit together.
I've called the mayor out many times for not stepping up when it comes to public safety threats. But I tell you, when I sat down with him, I saw the cop in him. And he really does want to do the right thing because he is a cop. He's a lifelong cop. And so he wants to help take public safety threats off the streets in New York, make New York safer. He also wants
narrative where we're saying we need to have public safety. I requested.
Why don't you bring up the Eric Adams stuff more? I've never heard about it before, but this is clearly corruption. It's just another thing because all the Republicans are like, oh, I don't know, I haven't heard about that. I don't know even. I've never heard of it. No one has any facts about anything. Nobody knows it. This is why it's all so boring right now. Nobody knows about anything or wants to argue about anything or has any underlying facts. It's all just like vibes and whoever triggered them the most or whatever. You have the timeline a bit out of order. They filed for dismissal without prejudice, started doing a news tour for some reason, and then the judge cucked Trump by dismissing it with prejudice from the federal government's decision. I don't know how to order that. I just didn't bring up the last part. The reality is that Bovee put a public letter saying that they were going to dismiss the charges, but they were going to leave it on the table to bring it back after the election. And then they started doing this news tour because Eric Adams now has to play ball because the DOJ has basically just dropped the case against you until they decide to bring it back up. But yeah, the federal judge did kind of fuck them by agreeing to the dismissal, but he clarified that it was going to be dismissal with prejudice so that the charges couldn't be brought back. But that's not what Bovee was requesting initially. Initially, Bovee was requesting to drop the charges without prejudice so that he could bring them back if he wanted to, which was just insane. There were like 5, I think, prosecutors that quit over this, a couple in a very based manner.
Person like this, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of hearing from Chris Coons? From hearing from one of my colleagues? From hearing from Adam Schiff? What is the fear here?
Would you rather have Marjorie Taylor Greene or J.D. Vance as president? Marjorie Taylor Greene, 1,000,000%. She's also like absolutely fucking stupid. I wouldn't be threatened by her at all. She's dumber than Trump. I don't think she would get fucking anything done.
Have at least the decency to have a vote on my point of order regarding Rule 4. I have respect for you, Mr. Chairman. We've served together for more than a decade, but this is outrageous. This is unacceptable. This is wrong.
So the chairman of the committee, Chuck Grassley, defended his decision to call that vote. He said what happened here was no different than what Democrats had done in a separate matter back in 2023 when they were in the Senate majority. And now the question is going to be whether or not this is a legitimate or illegitimate vote. Democrats say this was illegitimate. They say there was not a proper quorum. Republicans say this was a legitimate vote. That's going to be a question for the Senate rules keepers to decide. But nevertheless, Republicans have the vote, Wolf, and if they will want to press ahead and they can keep defections to less than 3.
Where is there like a video of this entire hearing? I want to see this. I'm curious. Confirmation hearing, judiciary, Bovee. I don't think I spelled this right.
Timeline.
Hold on. Gross score update.
Fuck are you so obsessed with me, bruv? That is an edited fucking caption. That is not real. It's been edited, you fucking mudblood. Stop tweeting about me, you little bitch boy. Shut the fuck up. Why the...
Does he still stream or do any content at all? Or what's he up to these days? Odd behavior shows how they staged the famous photo. What is this? Moments after shots were fired, a member of Trump's team rushes to the side of the stage to gather photographers.
President's been shot. Oh no. No. Either that or they're covering. We don't know. Either that or they're covering him. We love you. We love you, President Trump. We love you. We love you, President Trump. We love you. Yes. 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 We love you, President Trump.
I mean,
we love you. Yes.
like, is the flag really lowered into position, or did the wind just like die down for a second while it was blowing? This is retarded. I don't know. Okay, I don't care. True. Actually, you know, there's more evidence for this than there ever was for anything for the Hunter Biden shit. So,
raises very serious concerns. I appreciate
who comes before this committee where I have hard evidence that they have made a statement supporting violence against Capitol Police officers, they needn't even have a hearing because I'm not going to vote for them. I feel very strongly about that. So did somebody reference something in a meeting or did somebody say something between friends? I don't know, but even that would be disqualifying, and that yet has not been presented for this nominee. So I challenge all of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. That's a disqualifying event for me for the remainder of my time in the U.S. Senate, which admittedly is only 18 months. A lot of things happen in 18 months. Do your homework on finding a hard example and count me in to refuse confirming that nominee. But don't finesse it when you simply don't have the facts on your side. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Before I call on Senator Booker, we don't have all of our members here yet, but I think they're going to be here pretty soon. And remember, I said we'll vote when we get all of our members here. Go ahead, Senator Booker.
Thank you very much, Chairman Grassley. This process with Emil Bovee started with my office as well as Senator Andy Kim saying to the White House we were willing to work with them to find someone. The President of the United States, or the White House counsel, completely violated the process we had agreed upon and thrust this judge onto the state of New Jersey, a candidate, a nominee who we had already written letters of complaint about for his role in the prosecutor's office around issues around January 6th. Bovee directed Ed Martin to fire the January 6th defendants. And that was something we were actively investigating before he was even being considered as this. Imagine any senator here having somebody put in as a circuit court nominee in their state when there is an active investigation going on about something as serious as the January 6th nominations. That is something that everybody here would consider a violation of process. Now, I understand that there are folks here in good faith who are looking for issues and understanding, but we should all know we have an obligation, a duty, constitutional duty, to advise and consent that requires full and fair consideration. At this moment, there are still unanswered questions surrounding this nominee, evidence and data coming out, at least one whistleblower who's come forward. Moving forward with this vote before this committee has addressed these issues and concerns would undermine the integrity of this process. Mr. Bovee's answers at his hearing and questions for the record raise serious questions as to whether he actually misled this committee, even lied to this committee. Multiple members of this committee have pending requests for critical information regarding Mr. Bovee that must be fulfilled for us to responsibly and thoroughly evaluate this person's qualifications for a lifetime appointment on the federal bench. Let's start with a credible whistleblower who came forward with texts and emails that show that Mr. Bovee said F you to the courts and instructed federal officials to ignore a court order. The whistleblower is a 15-year career lawyer at the DOJ who served in Republican and Democratic administrations and defended the Trump administration's immigration policy during the first term. This is hardly someone that lacks credibility and legitimacy. And he came forward in a climate that we all know. When folks like this come forward, they are targeted with hate, with threats. Yet this person who has such integrity and such experience daringly, courageously stepped forward. And this committee won't even hear from him? I'm hard-pressed to believe that someone who dedicated 15 years to public service would jeopardize their career, the safety of themselves and their families for no reason. After learning that in 2018, members of the federal defense bar in SDNY, many of whom were former prosecutors, took the unprecedented step in 2018 of alerting Mr. Bovee's supervisors of his unethical conduct. These are Democrats and Republicans.
I don't even know anything about
Mr. Chairman,
Bovee in connection with J6. Jesus.
I make a request, and as I understand the rules of this committee, I have the right to do that. Mr. Reveney, witness the DOJ leadership plan to defy court orders. I would like to say, ask under Rule 4 of this rules of the committee that the chairman is required to entertain a non-debatable motion to bring a matter before the committee for a vote. I'm making a motion to bring this matter to a vote. I request a roll call of this committee so that the record may show that where each member stands on allowing a whistleblower, an independent prosecutor, who worked in Democrat and Republican administrations for 15 years, who courageously stepped forward, who put his life at risk, who is being threatened right now, who felt like it was worth to come forward to speak to this committee. I'd like to request that before voting on this nominee, we would hear from this nominee. I'd like a roll call vote on that according to Rule 4 of this committee.
The clerk will call the roll. Well, before you call the roll, first of all, I do believe that it's not on the agenda what you've requested, and we won't, things that I haven't previewed ahead of time or on the agenda, so I'm going to rule you out of order.
But sir, we can, in all sincerity, we could take the time. We could set the whistleblower coming next week. It would give us more time and enough time to review all of the things that you're concerned about. The level of gravity of the charges of an independent prosecutor for 15 years, who literally has put his life on the line by coming forward. We could do the necessary work to prepare for such a hearing, to hear from this prosecutor.
Before I call on Senator Whitehouse, let me say that you requested put things in the record. We will grant that request. Senator Whitehouse.
Thanks, Chairman. Let me ask.
Bro, if you really wanted to spend, you could probably do like a whole fucking PhD or multiple on the J6 stuff. I didn't even know this. The acting Deputy Attorney General, Emile Bovee, also told the acting leadership of the FBI to compile a list of all agents and FBI staff assigned at any time to investigations and or prosecutions relating to the events at the Capitol on January 6, 2021, a day a mob of Trump supporters stormed through the halls of Congress. In issuing his directive, Mr. Bovee, who has overseen an opening volley of threats, firings, and forced transfers since the inauguration, cited Mr. Trump's executive order vowing to end the weaponization of the federal government. Under President Joseph R. Biden Jr., the government waged a systematic campaign against its perceived political opponents, including by deploying law enforcement to pursue its rivals, he said. At the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, more than a dozen prosecutors who had worked on Jan 6-related cases were told that they were being terminated, according to people familiar with the notices. I actually know this personally. Ask me in 6 months about that. Those informed of their dismissals had been hired as the office struggled to manage what became the largest prosecution in the department's history. In another memo, Mr. Bovee said the prosecutors in question had been short-term hires that were improperly made permanent staff during the Biden administration. I will not tolerate subversive personnel actions, he wrote. Mr. Bovee offered no evidence those targeted had done anything improper, illegal, or unethical. Instead, he cited a legal technicality and questioned whether those targeted would allow the U.S. Attorney's Office to faithfully implement the agenda that the American people elected President Trump to execute. I think they did the same when they just recently fired Comey's daughter. They just cited like Article 2 of the Constitution. And they were like, okay. Yeah, dude, do I need car insurance? We got a lot of car insurance ads. What the fuck?
To Emile Bovee, let me start with this nominee. Having told a room full of Department of Justice lawyers that if the federal courts didn't back off on restricting unlawful deportations, they would have to tell courts, F you. I hope we can agree that telling courts F you is not an attribute we want in someone seeking to be a judge. We know that he said it because it is so abundantly corroborated in real-time
committees, and people have to leave here soon. We'll go to Bovee's nomination. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Chairman, point of personal privilege.
Mr. Chairman, according to Rule 4 of the committee, we have the right to continue to debate this nomination.
No.
I'm invoking Rule 4 of the committee. We have the right to debate this nomination.
You're out of order.
I'm seconding
Mr.
Senator
Chairman?
Booker's demand for a vote on his request to hear from the whistleblower.
Mr. Chairman, you should at least acknowledge my Rule 4 point of order.
You're out of order.
I don't understand this. What are you afraid of about even debating this,
by proxy.
putting things on the record, hearing from every senator? Dear God, that's what our obligations are. It's to state our reasons for debate. At least address the Rule 4 point of order that we're calling. There's no need to rush this. What are we afraid of? We're not pressing for the 2-hour rule like you all did when you were in the minority. We're simply asking for a credible amount of time to air our concerns before the vote. We respect each other in this committee. We respect the understanding that we have things to say. But yet we're doing this in a way that makes no sense to me. And it makes no sense to me because we're not trying to do things like force the committee to close or force a 2-hour rule. This is about understanding that people on this side have a responsibility to state their issues. Mr. Sir, you can call me out of order because this is out of order. This undermines the basic decency of this committee. Yes, maybe overrule a Rule 4, but at least address the Rule 4 point of order that senators were elected to debate issues and debate nominees. This is absolutely insane. What is the rush? Sir, I am interrupting because you're interrupting a regular point of order. At least address my point of order. I have the right to do that by the rules of this committee. If you want to overrule the rules of committee, then do so. But this is not in any way in order. You are obligated to address a point of order according to the rules of this committee. You can overrule me by a Senate vote. You're violating your own rules. The parliamentarian has been clear about this. The parliamentarian has been clear. You can overrule the rule, the point of order I'm doing, but you have to follow the precedents and procedures of this committee. This is outrageous that you're not allowing senators to have their fair say before a controversial nominee is being done. This is unbelievable. This is unjust. This is wrong. It is the further deterioration of this committee's integrity. With a person like this, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of hearing from Chris Coons? From hearing from one of my colleagues? From hearing from Adam Schiff? What is the fear here? Have at least the decency to have a vote on my point of order regarding Rule 4. I have respect for you, Mr. Chairman. We've served together for more than a decade, but this is outrageous. This is unacceptable. This is wrong. It is wrong. And why? Why? What is the rush to take another half hour to listen to people? What is the rush? What are we afraid of, Mr. Chairman? What are we afraid of? I do not understand why senators can't debate a nominee as we've done when both sides have been in the majority to take the time. What is the thing that you are so afraid of from hearing from my Senate colleagues? This is a violation of the precedents of this committee. We're not trying some stunt here to try to force a 2-hour rule like you all did when you were in the minority. We just want to be heard before a controversial vote. Sir, this is wrong, and you know it. You are a person of integrity. How could you be doing this? At least have a vote on my point of order. Sir, with all appeals to your decency, with all appeals to your integrity.
I mean, this guy already talked for like 26 hours. Like, are you really going to...
With all appeals to past jurisdiction and past precedent, why are you doing this? This is outrageous.
This is a kangaroo court. That's what we have here,
This
Mr.
is
Chairman.
wrong. To violate your own rules without going by the mandates of the parliamentarian. This is unbelievable. There's a way to do this. If you want to force this through, if you want to ram this through, there's a way to do it in accordance to the rules as spelled out by the parliamentarian. It is simple. It is clear. There's a pathway to achieve what you're trying to.
TLDR, what are they mad about? I'm not 100% sure. It sounds like Booker is trying to invoke a Rule 4 thing, which I'm guessing has to do with allowing them to bring in somebody else to debate. And what Corey is saying is like, well, if you want to overrule that, that's fine, but you have to overrule it by doing a vote of the this Judiciary Committee in order to overrule that point of contention. You can't just like steamroll past it and pretend like he's not even bringing it up. That's what it sounds like the contention is.
Achieve. But sir, this lacks decency. It lacks decorum. It shows that you do not want to simply hear from your colleagues. This is absolutely wrong. And sir, this is to me one of those moments where we are not showing common respect for each other on both sides. I have sat here when we were in the majority and listened to my colleagues' arguments, listened to their passionate statements, and then we voted. This is not that. This is us simply trying to rush through one of the most controversial nominees we've had under this presidential administration. Sir, God bless America. You are a good man. You are a decent man. Why are you doing this? What is Donald Trump saying to you that are making you do something which is violating the decorum of this committee, the rules of this committee, the decency and the respect that we have each other to at least hear each other out? I've sat through so many long speeches of my colleagues.
The chair shall entertain a non-debatable motion to bring a matter before the committee into a vote. If there is objection, to bring the matter to a vote without further debate. A roll call vote of the committee shall be taken, and debate shall be terminated if the motion to bring the matter to a vote without further debate passes with 11 votes in the affirmative, one of which must be cast by the minority. So it sounds like he's not doing he won't bring it to a vote. And that's what Corey keeps saying. If you want to not talk to this whistleblower, that's fine, but we should bring it to a vote at least.
Heard their objections. Listen with sincerity to try to see what their arguments are. But we are not doing that.
That's why Corey was saying, listen, if you want to not do this, that's fine, but there's a process by which to do this, which is you have to call the vote for it. You can't just skip it and pretend it's...
Sir, this is wrong, and you know it. There are some people on this committee who are the least firebrand people, and they've walked out. Some of the least controversial people in the Senate.
Oh, shit, wait. Are these all of his former colleagues? Or not former colleagues, I'm sorry, but these are all the dumb seats they just left?
Some of the people that work the hardest to find bipartisan common ground have just walked out of this committee. And you don't even seem to care, but I know you do. I know your heart, Senator Grassley. This is wrong. I know the kind of person you are, and you know this is wrong. This is not necessary. What is another half an hour to allow senators to be heard? It's what the Constitution mandates. It's the ideals of the United States Senate. The world's most deliberative body should take a decent amount of time to deliberate. But here we're not doing that. Here we are jamming this through with some sense of false urgency. It's one thing not to hear from whistleblowers. It's another thing not to hold another hearing, but to not even allow my colleagues to have their moment to speak against this justice. It's just wrong. And I know you know this. I know you know this. The only time this rule has ever been overturned by both parties was done when one minority was trying to pull some stunt to stop the committee from hearing. This is not that. This is not the 2-hour rule. This is a basic element of the ideals of this committee, sir. It is a basic understanding of having debate and deliberation. It's a basic understanding of we can listen to each other even if we disagree, that we should have time and space and a forum to listen. Sir, this is just wrong in every way. It is wrong in every single way. This is an abuse.
If he keeps talking, can they just not take a vote? Is that like the goal here?
Power is an undermining of the well-being and the integrity of this Senate and this committee that I for so long I've been so honored to be a part of. This is wrong, sir, and I join with my colleagues in leaving. This is a sham.
Vote.
This is wrong.
We're
better than this.
Pratt to the floor. Now we'll have to vote on these nominees for U.S. Attorney because we don't have enough people on the other side, so we can't do it by voice vote. So the clerk will call the roll on Kurt Olney.
Mr. Grant.
Aye.
Mr. Cornyn.
Aye.
Mr. Lee.
Aye.
Mr. Cruz.
Confused by the sense of quiet. Aye.
Mr. Hawley. Mr. Tillis. Mr. Kennedy.
Aye by proxy.
Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Schmidt. Mrs. Britt. Aye. Mrs. Lee. Aye. Mr. Durbin. Mr. Whitehouse. Mrs. Klobuchar. Mr. Coons. Mr. Blumenthal. Ms. Hirono. Mr. Booker. Mr. Padilla. Mr. Welch. Mr. Schitt. Jeremy Grassley.
Aye.
On this vote, the ayes are 12.
Okay, that Kurt Olney favorably voted will be reported to the floor. Now we'll vote on Leslie Woods Murphy. Call the roll, please.
Aye. Blackburn. Durbin. Mr. Whitehouse.
Do they have to roll call every single time? Or are they calling for the vote? The roll call is the vote or whatever.
Ms. Klobuchar. Mr. Coons. Mr. Blumenthal. Jeremy Grassley.
Now we go to nominee for Jean Perrell. The clerk will call the roll.
Aye. Mr. Whitehouse. Ms. Klobuchar.
Vote by roll call, gotcha.
The nomination will be favorably reported to the floor.
On this vote, the ayes are 12.
The nomination will be favorably reported to the floor. The last one is, no, I'm sorry. Eric Siebert. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Hawley. Aye. Mr. Tillis. Aye. Mr. Kennedy. Mrs. Britt. Aye. Mrs. Lee. Aye. Mr. Durbin. Mr. Whitehouse. Mrs. Klobuchar. Mr. Coons. Mr. Blumenthal. Ms. Hirono. Mr. Booker. Mr. Padilla. Mr. Welch. Mr. Schitt. Jeremy Grassley.
Aye.
Oh, Emil Bovee was the first person, was he? Oh, sorry, I missed that.
The clerk will call the roll. Will be favorably reported. Leslie Woods Murphy voted.
It's an undermining of the well-being. This is wrong, sir, and I join with my colleagues in leaving. This is a
majority
sham.
vote.
This is wrong. We're better than this.
Pratt to the floor. Now we'll have to vote on these nominees for U.S. Attorney because we don't have enough people on the other side, so we can't do it by voice vote. So the clerk will call the roll on Kurt Olney.
Mr. Grant.
Aye.
Mr. Cornyn.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Mr. Cruz.
Confused by the sense of quiet. Aye.
Mr. Schmidt. Mrs. Britt. Aye. Mrs. Lee. Aye. Mr. Durbin. Mr. Booker.
Be reported to the floor. Okay, that Kurt Olney.
It happened while Booker was speaking?
Voted.
Oh, was that?
So for you,
honored to be a part of. And the integrity of this Senate.
Oh, that's why they were doing roll call while speaking. I get it.
To have their moment,
I gotcha.
whistleblowers. It's another thing not to hold another hearing, but to not even allow
Gotcha.
sincerity to try to see what their arguments are. But we are not heard their objections. Listen without
nomination.
What is Donald Trump administration? This is listen to this moment here. But sir, this lacks decency. It lacks decorum. It shows that to achieve as spelled. If you want to force the mandate.
Kangaroo court. That's what we have here,
This
Mr.
is
Chairman.
wrong. To violate your own, are you doing this? This is outrageous.
This is a kangaroo court. That's what we have here,
This
Mr.
is
Chairman.
wrong. To violate your own rules without going by the mandates of the parliamentarian. This is unbelievable. There's the further deterioration of this committee's integrity with a person like this. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of this is wrong? This issue or force it to make respect each other minority. There's no need. It's the state putting things on the record, hearing from every senator.
Have competing markups and other committees and people.
Privilege.
We'll go to Bovee's nomination. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Chairman, point of personal privilege.
Mr. Chairman, according to Rule 4 of the committee, we have the right to continue to debate this nomination.
No.
I'm invoking Rule 4 of the committee. We have the right to debate this nomination.
You're out of order. Seconding Senator Booker's demand.
How is he out of order? Fuck, I don't understand parliamentarian rules enough. So he's just ignoring the I don't know if it's right to call it parliamentarian, But he's just ignoring the rules here when, at the very least, he should take a vote on what Cory Booker is suggesting, but he's not. He's just saying, fuck it, and he's just going to take the vote. I don't know how I didn't know this, or this never came up before, but when the Senate votes to confirm people, it has to come out of a committee first. So this is the Senate Judiciary Committee. Now, when our government is functioning well, my guess is that these committees are going to be the ones that do the deep diving and have the more knowledge and information about particular nominees, so that they could, I guess, really grill them before they make it out of the committee nominations, and then they go to the entire Senate to be nominated to be whatever positions are. But you have to go through a committee first. So this passes Bovee through the Senate Judiciary Committee, and then he'll go before the full Senate, as with everybody else who was approved for a to be confirmed or whatever. That's just
For a vote on his request to hear from the whistleblower.
Mr. Chairman, you should at least acknowledge my Rule 4 point of order.
You're out of order.
I don't understand this.
Was there any disciplinary action if they ignore the rules? Probably not. They would have to discipline themselves, I guess, huh? How wild.
Majority
sham.
vote, voice vote. So the clerk.
It's a basic understanding of we can listen to each other.
Bovee was the guy that we suspect is the one who was telling DOJ attorneys to just lie to Boasberg and other people to conceal information about the deportations, right? Is the understanding right now that we think that Bovee was the one who was? Yeah, okay, it's unreal. That's wild, but whatever. Who cares?
Now he said.
Who cares? Israel blow shut up. Who cares?
If you're not on board with the Epstein cover-up, I don't want your support. You're a weakling. Fuck you. Fuck you. You suck. You are fat. You are a joke. You are stupid. You are not funny. You are not as smart as you think you are. You are, and honestly, and if you watched my show, you know I've been very critical. I've never been this far. This just goes to show this entire thing has been a scam. When we look back on the history of populism in America, we are going to look back on the MAGA movement as the biggest scam in American history. And the liberals were right. The MAGA supporters were had. They were. When we look back in history, we will see Trump as a scam artist who served as a vehicle for this rather than the other way around. We were not the vehicle for Trump. Trump was the vehicle for all of us.
Okay. I wonder if Nick's trying to hedge for a post-Trump world to see if we can have some influence there.